Class 10th, let's start the chapter number 10, water resources. Turn page number 148. Okay, in this water resources, we'll be doing the sources of water, surface water and underground water or groundwater, need for the conservation and conservation practices of rainwater harvesting and its importance. And we'll also read about the irrigation importance and different methods of irrigations. Right, children? Okay, let's start the class. Water resources. Approximately 71% of the water available on the Earth's surface, but only the fresh water, which water constitutes only about 3% of the total water. Right, so 71% of the water is available is there in on the Earth's surface, but only 3% are fresh water, and those fresh water that 3%, among the 3%, few percent is in the form of ice caps. Right, so the availability of fresh water varies over space and time, and the disputes and the tensions on sharing and control of this scarce resource are becoming contested issues among communities, regions, areas, states, etc. The assessment, efficient use and conservation of water therefore become necessarily to endure development. In this chapter, we shall discuss about water resources in India, methods of its conservation and management, and need for water conservation in India. Right, now water resources of India. India accounts for about how much? 2.45% of the world's surface area, total of world's surface area, 4% of the world's water resources, and about 16% of the world's population. The total water available from precipitation in the country a year is about 4,000 cubic kilometer. The availability from surface water and replenishable groundwater is about 1,869 cubic kilometer. Out of this, only 60% can be put to beneficial uses. So whatever the water is available in India, only 60% of that total amount of water is utilized. Right, that means beneficial use. Thus, the total utilizable water resource in the country is only 1,122 cubic kilometer. Rest are maybe wasted or maybe run off from that area. Gets run off from that area. Now, next is surface water resources. So, we have got two types of sources of water: surface water and groundwater. So, what is surface water? The water which is found on the surface of the earth is known as surface water. Right? For example, streams, rivers, lakes, ponds, these are the surface water. Now, it can be directly used, and these water can be directly used for irrigation. Now, when we talk about groundwater, so groundwater means the water which is located below the earth's surface. That is groundwater. It is stored in porous soil and rocks. Right? So, this groundwater that is stored in the porous soil and rocks only, and we call it water table, where the water is available. That portion is known as water table, right, or aquifer. Generally is needed to be pumped out. So directly we cannot use that groundwater. So what is needed? That water is to be pumped out, right? So these are surface water and groundwater. Now come to the irrigation topic. So water is an important input for successful agriculture. Water may be available to crops in the natural course by rainfall. or it may be supplied to the agricultural fields artificially by human efforts. So human efforts means artificial irrigation techniques, right? And for irrigation, what is needed? Water is needed, and water maybe the farmers are getting water through in the form of rainfall. That is a natural course, and secondly, they are getting by irrigating their fields by artificial means of irrigation, like wells, tube wells, canals, etc. Clear? Okay, now the process of supplying water to crops by artificial means such as canals, wells, tube wells, tanks from the sources of water such as rivers, tanks, ponds or underground water is called irrigation, right? Now, what are the importance of irrigation? So water is basic input for agriculture, that we all know, right? So cultivation of crops depends on the availability of water. Water dissolves minerals and other nutrients in the ground. The roots of the plants draw this nutritious water from the soil. Water is must for commercialization of agriculture. So to commercialize the agriculture, water is needed. Secondly, irrigation played a major role in the success of Green Revolution in India. So Green Revolution means it's a production of wheat. So production of wheat or production of other crops, that needs what? Water, right? Okay, now here many regions like Punjab, Haryana have become leading producers of rice because of this irrigation. Clear? Next, many crops are grown in the Rajasthan and other arid regions, other dry regions, right, of India because of irrigation. Earlier, the irrigation facility was not there. That is why that crops couldn't grow there, right? But now irrigation facilities has encouraged, or irrigation facility has encouraged the production of crops. So nowadays, many crops could be grown in the areas like Rajasthan, arid region, semi-arid region, dry regions, right? Because of this irrigation facilities, we can say. Rajasthan and parts of Gujarat need water of drinking also. Now, need for irrigation. Next topic is need for irrigation. The need for irrigation in India arises from the different reasons. Okay, the first reason is variability in rainfall. So rainfall in India is very uncertain, with increased the element of risk and makes crop productions rather difficult. The intensity, variability in rainfall means the rainfall in India is very uncertain, right? And also the normal rainfall is marked by the wide fluctuations of different parts, and also variation from season to season, year to year, because you people must have noticed that the last year the rainfall was not too much, but this year you have experienced much better rainfall than the last year or before last year, right? So this is the reason why India needs irrigation, because of uncertainty of the rainfall. Clear? Okay, now next is unequal distribution of rainfall. In most parts of the country, 80% of the annual rainfall is received from June to September from southwest monsoon, and some of the arid regions or dry regions of India, there still is not getting rainfall. So this is unequal distribution of rainfall throughout the country. Somewhere rainfall is available or getting more than 80% of annual rainfall, but in some places of India like Rajasthan, parts of Gujarat, and some dry arid regions of Punjab, and so in those regions rainfall is very less or no rainfall. So this is unequal distribution of rainfall. Due to this reason also, India needs irrigation facilities. Next is to meet crop requirements and soil needs. So different crops require, we know different crops require different quantities of water supply. Some crops need plenty of water, and some crops need moderate type of rainfall, and some crops need very less rainfall. So to meet crops requirement, different crops requirement and soil needs, we need what? We need irrigation or irrigation facilities, right? So for example, crops such as rice, sugarcane, jute, chilies, cotton, they require more water and need irrigation even in areas of heavy rainfall. Clear? And beside that, sandy soil require frequent water supply than the alluvial or black soil, right? Because these alluvial and black soils, they are self-plying soil, and they are moisture retentive, they have moisture retentive capacity, right? So these are self-plying soil, we can say. And some of the soils like sandy soil, because sands are what? Loose particles. So sand require frequent water supply. Clear? So for this also we need irrigation irrigation facility. To maximize productions, to get high yields and maximum productions from that field, from that land, and to facilitate double and triple cropping, irrigation is must. Irrigation is needed. To get efficient use of utilizable flow, many of the Indian rivers are not perennial and they carry insufficient flows during the Rabi season. Right? So Rabi season, during that season, the rainfall is very less. That is why the land needs to be irrigated, right? So many of the Indian rivers, they are non-perennial. So non-perennial means only in rainy season we can utilize that water, but in dry season there is no water flow, right? So there is also wide disparity in the water flow from year to year, and the characteristics of central and the southern rivers is that about 80% or to 90% of the annual runoff takes place during the 4 months of monsoon rains. The rivers are largely dry during the 8 months of the year. So this we are talking about the southern and the central India. The rivers are dry, right? The rivers, they get water during rainy season only. So rest of the 7 to 8 months, the rivers get dry, right? So it is obvious that therefore to make use of sizable portion of the average, what is needed? Irrigation is needed in India, right? Especially in the southern part of India, because northern part, most of the rivers are perennial. So this is the problem in South India and the central India, right? Now next is to supplement supply even in a good rainfall areas. Okay, not for the dry areas, arid areas, or non-perennial South India or central area, but to give a supplement supply even in a good rainfall areas also. In good rainfall areas, irrigation is required mostly as a supplemental need to protect single crop agriculture against the occasional drought. Clear? Okay, now next is means of irrigation. So different sources of irrigations are there. used in India, which depends on the topography, climate, soil, rainfall, availability of groundwater, surface water of the surroundings. So the main source of irrigation used in the different parts of the country are wells and tube wells, canals and tanks. So let's talk about wells. Okay, before that, different means of irrigation, let's talk about the primitive and modern methods of irrigation. So primitive means old method and modern methods of irrigation, right? So primitive means old method we can say, right? So irrigation practice in India can be divided into two broad categories: primitive methods as well as the modern methods. Now let's talk about the primitive methods of irrigation. So primitive methods of irrigations, old methods of irrigations, that consist of wells, tanks and your inundation canals. These are the primitive methods of irrigations, and these type of irrigation is methods of irrigation is used to irrigate small farm or small fields or small area, right? And they do not require any machinery to operate or to in that field, to operate in the field, right? So now when we talk about the modern methods, that includes like tube wells is the modern method of irrigation, right? And canals. And now canals and tube wells can irrigate a large area, a large farm, and they need a large farm means they need modern machineries to build or to operate, right? Okay, now let's talk about wells. So a well is a hole dug in the ground to obtain the subsoil water, right? So canals used to be the most important source of irrigations up to 1960s, but now they have been replaced by tube wells, which irrigate more than 50% of the total irrigated area of India. So earlier wells were used very much, like till 1960s this well was very popular, but nowadays tube wells are in use, right? Now wells are of three types: lined well, unlined well, and okay, there are two types of wells: kacha wells and pakka wells, or we can say unlined well and lined well. So when we talk about unlined well means kacha well, right, which is not lined with stones or bricks. They are kacha type, right? And they are easily available in the village areas where the farmers easily dug the near their field, that well, right? And these wells, kacha wells or unlined wells, are constructed where water table is high. That means where water is available. When we dig the ground where the water is available, where the water table is just 15 meter, right? When we dig the ground, we find the well in the depth of 15 meter. We find the water, underground water, in 15 meter only, right? So these wells are not lined with bricks or stones, and they are known as kacha wells. And these types of wells are easy to dug and very cheap. It's not very expensive, right? Now next is lined wells. They are pakka well, which is lined with bricks or stones. That is also not very expensive, so the farmers, they can afford it, right? Now lined and unlined wells are suited to poor Indian farmers or cultivators because because of their cheapness, simplicity, and their easy operation. So these both line wells and unlined wells are cheaper as well as easier to dig or to make. Right now, next is suitable conditions for well irrigation. So well irrigations, you have to dig the ground. So what is needed? Soft soil. Right. Secondly, the water table should be high. Water table should be high, and the rocks nearby or the soil should be soft. And for lifting the water, cheap labor power should be available. Electricity should be available there, and the area must be of alluvial formation, that means soft, and there should be sufficient quality of groundwater, quantity of groundwater. Sufficient quantity of groundwater means the water table should be high. Now, advantages of wells. So what are the advantages of wells? Now, next topic is merits of wells or well irrigation. Merits means advantages. So advantages or the merits of wells are, they are the simplest way of irrigation, cheapest source of irrigation. They can dug at any convenient place, right? And very easily we can operate that. And we can they are indispensable source of irrigation. That means we can use water wherever there is necessity or necessity. Now, drawbacks of wells. So drawbacks means demerits of wells. So demerits of wells, we can say disadvantages of wells. They are not deep enough and may run dry also. When we utilize the well water excessively, it may run dry one day, right? Okay, secondly, they can irrigate only small farm or small area. They cannot irrigate large field or large area, right? Thirdly, the water table should be high. In that area only we can dig this well. Clear? Next is it's water contents, that well water content. This is very important. The point to be noted, that water contains well water contains high percentage of minerals and salts which is not fit for irrigation. Right? Water is unsuitable for irrigations. So you must have learned about brackish water. So that is this. So if the well water is brackish, then they are not suitable for irrigation, right? So this is one of the most important drawbacks of wells, demerits of wells. Clear? Now next come to tube wells. Tube wells are a well is a deeper well, we can say. A tube well is a deeper well, generally over 15 meter deep, right? And from which the water is drawn out with the help of pumping machines by an electric motor, right? Or a diesel engine. So obviously a tube well cannot be constructed everywhere because it requires a lot of means that some geographical requirement must be there, like geographical conditions favoring for its installations, right? The main factors are, number one, water table should be high. Otherwise it is uneconomical to install that tube well in that area, right? So water table should be high. Secondly, there should be a regular supply of cheap electricity or diesel. Otherwise it will be what? So that the water from the tube well can be taken out easily within an hour. Otherwise it will become uneconomical, right? Next, the soil in the immediate neighborhood of the tube well should be fertile so that there is demand for irrigation, the cost of involved in the construction and operation of the tube well can be recovered by the increased farm productions. So wherever the installation of tube well is done, that nearby area should be very fertile so that they could irrigate that farm, and that farm will give good production. Clear? Okay, so these are the conditions for installation of tube wells. Now, this in several areas it's written that the Persian wheel, earlier used for lifting water, has been replaced by tube wells. Earlier, what was used? Earlier, Persian wheel was used, right? Now that has been replaced by tube wells. Nowadays, tube wells are in use. Tamil Nadu, with 11 lakh tube wells, has the largest number in the country, followed by Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Punjab and Haryana. Now, here are the disadvantages of tube wells. They need cheap power, which is not available in the most of the states. So what is needed? Cheap electricity. Power means electricity is needed, but most of the Indian states, they do not provide, or they could not provide cheap electricity. Second, cost of groundwater extraction. That means to take out groundwater is very costly, very expensive. So cost of groundwater extraction is very high, as the farmer has to pay for it, right? Thirdly, tube wells provide assured irrigation, which has changed the cropping pattern of many regions. And overuse of underground water has lowered the water table in many states. Okay, because of this tube well, many cropping pattern has been changed of many reasons, right? So this is also one of the disadvantages of tube wells. So it changed the cropping pattern of many areas, many regions, many fields, as well as overuse of that groundwater leads to lowering of water table in many states of India. Now come to the advantages of tube wells. So tube wells, they can irrigate larger area as compared to the wells, right? So they are reliable source of irrigations. That means they do not, reliable means water is available, right? They can irrigate the fields throughout the year, and they have played a major role in the Green Revolution. With the help of tube wells, some crops which use more irrigation or rainfall can be grown in low rainfall area with the help of that tube wells. For example, rice cultivation in Punjab is successful because of tube wells, right? So because rice needs a lot of water, so only rely on rainfall is not enough. So it needs regular supply of water, and that water supply is done by the establishment of or installation of this tube wells, right? Okay, now next is canals. Canal irrigation is the most important sources of irrigation in India, because 40% of the India's total irrigated farm or areas are under this is done by the means of canals, right children? Okay, so here are the in page number 153, you got a chart there, important canal system of India. You just go through this chart and you will find there the name of different canal and where that canal lies, and the river and the associated states is also written there. Okay, just see this chart, important canal system of India, very, very important chart. Name of the canals are given here: Agra Canal, Upper Ganga Canal, Upper Bari Doab Canal, Hirakund project. And these are the states where these canal are canals are located, and these are the river through which or from which these from which the water is drawn, right? And these are the states where these canals are made. Clear? So this is very important chart. Just go through this important canal system of India. This chart, very important. Okay. Okay, children, that's all for the day. We'll continue this chapter in the next video. So you just go through the chapter number 10, and just read out the all the methods, means of irrigations, and just go through the advantages, merits and demerits of wells, tube wells, and primitive methods, and the old methods and modern methods of irrigations in India, kacha well, pakka well, line wells, unlined wells. These all are important topics of this chapter, right? So you just revise this as much as you can, right, children? Okay, so we'll meet soon in the next video. Till then, bye bye.